Welcome back to This, That, and Another, PPL's official podcast about the library and the communities we serve. My name is Jay. And my name's Sophia. No, I'm just kidding. That was still me. Sophia is not here this month. She's away doing a fellowship. She should be back next month. I am recording this podcast by myself, and man, am I hungry this morning. Good news for me, CHOP, the culinary hub of Providence, is now open. What is CHOP? How can you get a bite to eat at CHOP here at PPL? We will be talking to Josh Riazzi of CHOP later on in this episode, so stick around to find out more. But first, summer is here, which means summer reading is in full swing here in Rhode Island. I had the chance to talk to children's educator Ann Kilkenny all about the summer reading program here in Rhode Island, here at Providence Public Library, and it started a little something like this. So tell us a little bit about what you do here at the library.
Well, thanks for having me today, first of all. Glad to be a part of the podcast. I get paid to do the hokey pokey for a living. It's really a great job. I have a background in early childhood education, so a lot of my time is spent developing and putting into practice programming for young children and children through elementary school. We have a wonderful teen team upstairs that handles middle school and high school. So I do story times on a regular basis on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Get a little plug if you have a toddler or an infant. Tuesdays and Thursdays, PPL's the place to be. We've got some really great story times for you. I also have a great STEM club that meets on Wednesdays. It was originally a group of elementary students and their mentors who are high school students that were doing some programs through Rhode Island, STEM Mentoring Rhode Island. And they loved it so much, they wanted to keep coming. So now we have a club that meets. So if you want more information about that, you can catch up with me about that. But I really spend most of my time in programs with children and their families. And then I also get to sit at the desk in the children's room and do reader's advisory and meet lots of people. So it's a great job.
So let me ask you real quick. You did mention story time, and I want to talk a bit about that. So if a parent's listening, how would somebody participate in story times? What is kind of the age breakdown of each story time that you run here at the library?
Sure. So specifics, Tuesday mornings at 9:30 and 10:30, we have story times for toddlers ages 1 to 3 and a caregiver. And we play for about a half hour, and then we clean up and have stories and songs at the end. And then at 11:30 on Tuesdays, infants, so non-walkers up to about 18 months. Once they get up and walking, they want to be walking around and running and being with other kids. So this is for non-walkers. Right now I have a 3-week-old and a 3-month-old and a 6-month-old. It's really great. And so we have infant story time. And then on Thursdays, we go outside. Thank you to Grace Episcopal Church over on Westminster Street. We use their courtyard at 11 o'clock on Thursdays, and that's for children ages 0 to 5. And there's a parachute and bubbles involved. So,
love it.
Yeah, we do that during the warm weather. Once it gets to be about October, we come back here to the library.
So we mentioned summer reading. Summer reading just started at the time that we're recording this. Now, when we release this, we'll be a little bit deeper into summer reading. So some of you all, if you haven't started yet, you're going to have to play some catch up here.
That's all right. You can start anytime.
Exactly. So this is more of a general question, but can you talk about the summer reading program that is done here at Providence Public Library each year, as well as the other libraries in Rhode Island?
Sure. So every library, pretty much every, as far as I know, every library in the state of Rhode Island has some sort of summer reading and learning offering. Here in Providence, we are so lucky because there are 10 libraries in Providence. So our summer reading and learning program is a collaborative effort between PPL and the community libraries of Providence. So it's summer with your PVD libraries. So across the city, we have a program that involves, we have a teen challenge and a children's challenge. So children from kindergarten to 5th grade can sign up to read. And then as they read, they earn badges for the number of minutes. So every time they read 100 minutes, which, oh my gosh, sounds like such a lot, but that's 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Really not so bad. every time they read 100 minutes, they earn raffle tickets and digital raffle tickets, and they can choose to put those in for prizes. And we have prize raffles every week for the elementary school kids. It's an incentive to keep them engaged, and the prizes are pretty cool. There's some robots involved and build your own birdhouse kits, and we buy them locally from some stores here in Providence, so we support local business. And similar for the teens, reading. Every time they read, I think they have to read 100 minutes to get a badge. They enter to win prizes that will be awarded at the end of the summer. So tickets for things like wireless earbuds, cool teen things. And then for folks who complete the program, complete the challenge, which for elementary school kids is 800 minutes, the grand prize is a laptop. CLPVD donated laptops, one for the children's program and one for the teen program. So there will be one grand prize winner chosen from those who complete the program. So keep reading, everybody. Keep reading. And that'll be done at the end of the summer. But the real behind it is, yes, we want them reading. We want them coming to the library. All the libraries have great things planned. Here at PPL, we have 3 big Saturdays planned. So we had one just this past Saturday. I know we're taping this now and it'll be later, but Saturday, July 20th, it's all about art at the library, and we'll have things happening all day long. We have a watercolor workshop in the morning, a felting workshop in the afternoon. We have open art available in the workshop all day long. So you can just come in and spend the day learning about different kinds of art, visiting different parts of the library, spending time in the children's room. And then in August, we have a day of dance on the 17th of August. That'll be our wrap up of summer reading. That'll be the last day of programming for summer reading. And we have a local Mexican folk dance troupe coming in. Thank you, Shirley, our controller, who got these folks for us. And we have Metamorphosis, a modern dance company, coming in the afternoon. And both of them are going to do a little performance, but then there's audience participation after that. So they'll be creating dances and learning how to dance. So it's, again, another fun day for everybody. And there's going to be a little Let's Dance competition in the seminar room in between, just to keep people moving around.
I think if you're listening right now, you have a lot of options on how you can celebrate some of the events here at PPL. So how can somebody, let's say somebody's interested in one of these, is there registration? Can they just show up? How does this work in order to attend these great events on July 20th?
Sure. So no registration required. You can just come. If you have questions about it, we do have information in the event calendar on the PPL's website. You can also reach out to the children's department. We're happy to give information, and we do have flyers in the library. So if you stop into the library, you can grab a flyer that give you the times of everything. But it's all on the website as well at provlib.org.
And for people who want to learn more about the summer reading program, maybe want to kind of peruse before signing up, where can they find more about the program, read more about it, and where can they get signed up?
Sure. Beanstack.org is our online summer reading platform provided through OLIS, the state library system. And so we have a website for that. There's an app that's available through Google Play or the Apple Store. So people can register. Listening to this podcast, you can register now. You can register right up until the end, the last day, which is August 17th, to be in the challenge. And it's just your child's name and their age, an email address so we can notify you if you win a prize, and the school they go to and the grade that they're in. And so we like to keep track. In the library. So, of course, you want to put PPL as your library. And we just keep track of, how many readers do we have here at PPL? That's why we collect that information. We get the email address so we can contact you if you win a prize. But it's very easy. We even have a kiosk set up in the children's room so that you can sit right down and do it right there while you're there. It takes about 2 minutes. So I encourage people to do it. And if you have any questions, you can ask any of the staff, or you can ask the staff in the children's room. We'd be happy to help. And if you sign up here and you're over at Rochambeau grabbing a book and you want to log your minutes, you can do that. We also have a really nice booklet that you can take with you that has a bingo card, things like that. So lots of different ways for you to access being able to record minutes and be part of the challenge.
And we'll put the link to the direct sign up in the show notes as well. So if
Perfect.
anyone wants to be able to go to that directly, just check the show notes. Last question. Obviously, you've been working with children for many years. Many summer readings have come and gone. Why is summer reading important, and why is it important for your child or your teenager to read consistently?
Yeah. So summer is a time when kids aren't in school learning, and people have probably heard about what people call the summer slide. And really what we're trying to accomplish by providing opportunities to read and to learn and to engage in things around the community, because we're very much about getting out and about with your family, getting out and about with your friends, because it's about keeping us all engaged, keeping our brains engaged, because that, along with reading, connecting with other people, makes the difference and helps prevent or at least mitigate some of the loss that can happen over the summer when kids don't have opportunities to engage with other people, learn new things, and they're learning it in a fun, playful way in a low-risk environment where there's no tests, no pencils and papers, no, bells ringing. They're just out in the park playing. They're at the library learning about water, doing different kinds of things. So learning dances, right? So it's a way to keep the brain engaged so they go back to school ready to learn.
Hi, it's Reina, your favorite neighborhood librarian. I'm back again to talk about some book recommendations in my book club. By the time this podcast comes out, we'll be gearing up to talk about the book Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. You might have heard of the book, but you probably have heard of the movie, which is starring Natalie Portman. So I'm hoping for my book club that we'll be able to talk about Annihilation, which is following a biologist. There's actually a biologist, an anthropologist, a psychologist, and a surveyor. And they're sent out to like a unknown area. They go on an expedition. I don't want to spoil it, but it is kind of a crossover between science fiction and horror. If that's your bread and butter, we are going to be meeting for the book club on July 29th. So for a book club, you don't have to register. You can just drop in. I do request the books be sent to the library. So if you don't have a copy, you're more than welcome to drop in at any time to PPL and check out a book. But we're meeting July 29th at 5:45 in the Mural Room. It's always a very big book club, and it's always a lot of fun. So if you haven't been to a book club before, I'd recommend this one. We're still trying to figure out a time to schedule the movie for Annihilation. That movie is about 2.5 hours long, so a lot of the people that usually come to the book club said that they wanted to do a weekday movie showing, but we're a little bit mixed. So I'm thinking I might do one showing on a weekday and one showing in the weekend. So make sure you check out the PPL calendar for like the upcoming movie date. If you are on vacation or can't make it to Annihilation, in August, we'll be discussing Trust of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. This is a part of the Cosmoverse, but it is its own standalone novel. It is young adult and a little bit romancy, but nothing too spicy. If you are into a little bit of spice, we do have a romantasy book club for that. And also, just another, to throw it out there, my Dark Academia book club. We'll be reading The Cloisters and discussing that August 19th. Dark Academia, if you haven't heard of it, I always tell people it's usually some elite student that's at some elite boarding school. Murder happens, usually by them. Then you just follow them along, dealing with like the psychological aspects of that afterwards. So if you're a fan of The Secret History by Donna Tartt, if you're a fan of We Were Villains by ML Rio, or Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, like this might be a good book club for you.
Joining us in the studio now, CHOP chef and chief operating officer, Josh Riazzi. Hi, Josh.
How are you?
So CHOP is open now, kind of a soft opening as we record this. What is CHOP? How would you describe the culinary hub of Providence?
Great. Well, you bring up a good point. What is CHOP? Because to many people who come in the restaurant, they're going to see it as a restaurant. Bar, we have a coffee shop and barista station, we have a pastry case. But the reason that CHOP exists is really to be the culinary hub of Providence. It was founded by the Genesis Center, who has operated for the past 40 years in Providence and really specializes in workforce training. And as somebody who's been involved with the Genesis Center's culinary program for the past 10 plus years, we saw a need in the community for students to be trained in a way that was much more enhanced than a real classroom setting. And in the hospitality field, kitchens, restaurants, operations that customers are coming into are really great training grounds, and we had always strived to open something that would operate as a public-facing restaurant, and that's really what CHOP is. It's an extension of our classroom training. It is a fully operating restaurant, and as you said, we're in soft launch right now, but really, the students are getting trained in the space, and we're kind of rolling out different facets of CHOP once we have classes come through that have mastered skills. So right now, what we've got operating are our production kitchen. We are open for daytime hours serving lunch, and the students are prepping and producing things like croissants and salad sandwiches, bowls, different types of ethnic foods, and really just, filling the space with their vibrancy.
Tell me about the space itself.
Sure.
Because when this all started, you kind of had a blank wing to work with within Providence Public Library.
Right.
So what went into making CHOP function the way it does right now? And are there any kind of cool amenities that you like about it?
Yeah. The CHOP was a empty space, right? When we first toured the space, it was a cavernous concrete and brick space. I don't believe it had been used for anything other than storage in the past, as far as anyone could remember. So we really took that space and added the infrastructure of a restaurant. We had to do some trenching to add pipes and water, sewer lines. We had to figure out how a commercial kitchen and bar would be set in the space. Some of the design challenges that were presented were that we didn't have a chase to the roof to do a traditional hood system. So part of the design process involved getting different manufacturers to spec out equipment that could live in a hoodless kitchen. And we were able to do that. So we have a full production kitchen, but no hoods. So I wouldn't call it an amenity, but it's one of the design features of the space that's really unique. Our students that come in get the chance to see how some really modern kitchen equipment would operate. I don't think that they would go out into any kitchen after working here and feel outgunned by the equipment that's there. And in fact, we have some chefs who come in who've worked in the industry for years and say, wow, this stuff is really special equipment that I don't even know how to use. So it gives us an opportunity to add trainings and to add some production value to the foods that we're making because we have access to that equipment. From a front of house perspective, some of the amenities that we have, really beautiful, long, artistically designed bar space that can be used in the evening for traditional restaurant service, but built into one side of the bar is a demonstration space that has AV equipment like overhead cameras, and it has induction burners and things that we can use to do cooking demonstrations and also cocktail demonstrations. Not only for our students, one of the big things of using this space is to promote some of the really great culinary aspects of the city of Providence and the state of Rhode Island that, don't really have avenues right now to be promoted. And so we wanted to build in ways to have demonstrations and really connect the culinary production with the customers coming in. So that's one of the pieces that we look to unfold in the next, I'd say month or two, is just having action cooking demos going on daily, to have workshops where we're promoting them to the public and featuring and highlighting certain ingredients and certain cooking preparations and chefs or budding chefs. Some of our culinary students have a lot of really great knowledge that they bring with them from life experience. They may have immigrated here from a country that has a really great food history or cuisine, and being able to utilize the space to showcase and highlight that is really one of the features of the restaurant.
That's great. And now that we know what CHOP is, I think the question that everybody wants to know is the menu. What can
Yeah.
you tell us about the menu at CHOP currently?
We, just I was saying about the students promoting their cultures and cuisine through cooking demonstrations and really learning how to formalize that through the operations that we're teaching. The menu reflects that. The Genesis Center, being an organization that's worked with new Americans for the past 40 years, has a lot of students who come from Southeast Asia, from Africa, from Europe, from the Caribbean countries, South America. And when you browse our menu, what we've done is created menu items that call on some of those techniques and ingredients, spices, flavor profiles, but present them in ways that people can really connect with. So an example may be a sandwich that, a grilled chicken sandwich, but using flavors of Southeast Asia to incorporate things like lemongrass and pickled vegetables and presenting it in a way that, someone from Southeast Asia may season and cook that in. And, that's kind of pervasive throughout our menu.
Do you have a favorite menu item?
Yeah, I'm really right now into the chicken tikka masala bowl, which incorporates, some classics like a curry and garam, braised chicken with spices and tomato, and we are serving it with an heirloom rice. That's something that's really special, but it's also just like a craveable kind of dish that anyone would, come in for lunch and have a glass of wine with or a beer and enjoy.
I love, this is like a lot less involved, but the cookies are some of the best cookies I've ever had.
Right.
And they're big too. They're not like you go to like some fast food restaurant and they give you like a small cookie and you're like, I could have made this at home. Like, I'm telling you right now, and listen, supplies go fast, but the cookies are so good.
Well, we are, we're trying to sell it any way we can. And I think one of the beautiful things of the food that we make is that it looks really beautiful, and promoting some of the food on our pastry case is one of the ways that we're trying to get customers to connect with the production skills that the students are learning. So they go through a baking and pastry section of training, and one of the final pieces is making our famous chocolate chip cookie. That is, like you said, it's probably an 8-inch cookie. You could share it with a friend or four. But when you see those in the pastry case, our hope is that you take one or two home and the students, all their hard work goes to show for something that, you're able to connect with. And really, it's a chocolate chip cookie at the end of the day. It's not doctored up any particular way, but it's just a really good version of that.
CHOP is here at Providence Public Library. Why do you think CHOP and PPL go together so well?
It's a great question. And I don't think that this project would have A, happened, and B, been as successful as it is without the public library being involved. And we get the benefit of having the public library as a landlord here in the space, which means that throughout the build out, throughout the fundraising, and now throughout our launch, we've dealt with an organization that understands education. We've dealt with an organization that understands fundraising and nonprofits. And there's just a synergy there on the business and just the build out and operations side. But now that we're up and running, there's an added benefit, which is that the guests who come into the library, they're looking for something very similar to what CHOP offers, which is they could get a book anywhere. They could, look things up on the internet anywhere, but there's a certain context that the library really seeks to add to that. And we do the same. You could get a cookie or muffin anywhere, but when you come into CHOP, we add so much more to that. And the educational piece is big. I also think that, being partners on the educational side for many years, Providence Public Library and Genesis Center have worked together on workshops and been collaborative. It just helps to go into business essentially with someone who really you want to partner with. And that's been one of the great things about working here in the library.
If people want to find out more about CHOP before stepping in, where can they find out more information?
Well, our website just launched. It's culinaryhubpvd.com. And if you want to find out more about the Genesis Center, gencenter.org is the website, where you can find out all of the things the Genesis Center is up to. But one thing we're doing on the Culinary Hub website is posting menus as they change. Our menu is really going to change with the seasons, and also it's going to change with different strategies and different things that we want to push and promote and train students on. So it will be something that is a living, breathing document. I encourage people to come and take a look at the menu frequently, and we'll be posting shortly some workshops and things that people can register for. So if you're interested in any of those, the website's a great place to get in touch.
Most important question of the day. Are there cookies at shop today?
We've got some cookies.
All right. I'm coming by to get a cookie in a little bit.
There you go.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This, That, and Another. Special thanks to Ann Kilkenny for joining us to talk about summer reading. Thanks to Reina for coming back on the show to give us more recommendations. And of course, thanks to Chef Josh for coming on to talk all things chop. You can find us on social media at Providence Public Library on Instagram, Providence Public Library on Facebook, and check out our website, provlib.org. And of course, you can leave us a message on Spotify, both text and an audio message. And again, if you submit a voicemail to our show, we might play your message on air. And we'll see you next month right here on, oh, Sophia's not here to do it, This, That, and Another.